There was no city bus that went by the school. Like the school my sister went to, city buses go by that place all the time. But where I went to high school, there was no city buses going there. So there was no way for me to get to that school that early. So after my high school years, I went off to college, and I went off to college with the attitude that I started like really putting in working and handling people on the court when I was in high school, especially my senior year. My junior, senior year, I was like, you know how you get better, and then you start being like, oh, okay, I see where he falling off at, I see where he falling off at. Well, I got better, and I started handling some people, and I'm like, okay, so college come, I might go out there and try for the team. I'm gonna try for the college team. And I went to a community college. I'm gonna go out here and try for the team, man, and see what happens. Like, this is something I should give a shot while I'm in college, right? That's something I wanted to do. All right, let me do it. Go out for the team, get there, we play, we go through drills, I hit some shots. It's time for the 5-on-5 scrimmages. I touched the ball 2 times in 4 scrimmages. 2.
Bruh.
Everybody was out there trying to be whoever they felt like, celebrity or whatever. They wasn't passing the ball or whatever. And then I realized if you didn't get recruited by the school and a chance for a walk-on was like 1 or 2 people, it was so slim, and everybody was playing. They were so selfish with playing that nobody really even got a chance to show what they could do, because anytime somebody touched the ball, it was very few people wanting to play team ball. I was one of them, but I only touched it twice, so no, yeah, it was that serious. I went out for trials twice, and the second time I went out for trials, I was like, I'm gonna shoot everything I touch. I don't even remember it. And that lets you know I probably didn't touch the ball no more than 2 more times that time either. So, but while I was in college, I became a better shooter. I became a better ball handler. I'll say this: I've always had a street ball game to my game. I've always had a street ball game to it, but I've always had a flair to be my own self too. Because when the N1 came out during that time, all them people were talking about I was N1, and I had learned my game from the street ball game. I hadn't even seen the N1 tournament, N1 nothing. I didn't know nothing about tricks. I didn't know nothing about no skip the Maloo. I didn't know nothing about no hot sauce. I didn't know nothing about any of those fellas. I just knew that I had my own game, and I played my game no matter where I went. And it got to a point where I kind of started shying away from playing my game when people started saying that, because I didn't want to glorify that game, and that game ain't my game. And then I realized, like, I'm gonna be me. You gotta be you no matter what. I play a real street ball game, so I got to a point where I was just like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna be me. My game is what I learned from watching other people play that was better than me. I took bits and pieces from everybody else's game and put it together and made it my own and made it my game. Like, the reason why I try to play defense and be an all-around player is Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen to me, he was my favorite player. If you didn't know or know who Scottie Pippen was the second guy on the Bulls the years that the Bulls. He was the best all-around player, so that's my game. If you know my game, that's my game. Anyway, so once I every year, man, like, I got better. But when I was in college, I felt like I went from a starter to like being one of the best people around in the area. I know a lot of people don't feel like that, but after we went that whole summer in '97 and beat everybody on the court, I kind of have reason to say I was one of the best point guards in the area, even if they don't feel like it. Even in Florida, I felt like I was a really good player too. I learned a lot of game in Florida. Like, a lot of people don't know. Florida known for football. It's a football state. They play football, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They talk about Texas, how serious the football is for them. If you come to Florida, you will get it. You have to come here to understand it. I'm not saying Texas is better at football. I'm not saying Florida is better at football. I'm saying they are very real about football. Even where I'm from, even my home state, they're very real about football. So it was weird to come to Florida and learn the game of basketball the way I learned it. I felt like I was one of the better players at the game. When I was younger, I forgot to talk about this, but when I was younger, me and my best friend and my friends from the community were growing up in what we lived in. We went to basketball tournaments. The furthest I went to in a basketball tournament was Atlanta. We went and we actually won the games there, but unfortunately, some of the guys that was there got into it with somebody else and they kicked us out. You go undefeated. You go to a basketball tournament. We went to a basketball tournament in Lakeland, Florida. We won there in Lakeland, Florida. From there, we went to Atlanta. And from there, we were supposed to go to the next place, but apparently some guys got to fighting and we didn't make it to the next place. But that was probably the funnest time for me as far as basketball. Like, that was probably my AAU experience. It was fun. Traveling ain't always so fun when it's a car packed full of people that's talking loud and you can't move for hours. But once you get to where you're going, that's the fun part. And when we was there, they had a building for the guys and they had a building for the females. And after our games, I would venture over and watch the ladies play. And that's how I actually got intrigued in watching females play ball, because I saw the women playing. And at the time, and when I was, until I became an adult, I always felt that women's basketball, girls basketball at that time was more physical than ours, because I would see females getting hit with elbows and all kind of crap, going for rebounds and everything, and the refs not really calling it like they were calling it on the guys. It was, I don't know, it's just, I felt like the women was more physical, but that made me watch them more. Plus I was a teenager, so of course I'm gonna watch females play. I'm a teenager. But after that, now back to after college. When I moved back to Florida, I started playing more street ball, because I used to play, in college I played and we was whooping on people. And then when I came here, I was by myself. And I'm telling you right now, if you ever been, I would say spoiled, if you ever been young and winning championships and going to the postseason and getting to the playoff game, you might not win all of them, but the fact that you got there and the people that you play with that know how to play, you get used to all of that and you end up taking that for granted. And what I mean by that is, when I came to Florida, I was just by myself. And oh my gosh, the people that I met on these street ball courts in Florida, I have seen so many 6'2", whatever, outside shooting threes. Now for the NBA, that would make sense because 6'2" is a guard. But in street ball, you 6'2", you tall, you be in the paint, right? It's a lot of them that don't play the paint. I had to readjust my game. I grew up on the old school, big man in the paint, got to figure out a way to feed him the ball. Then I moved to Florida and everybody want to shoot the ball, man. Everybody X button is broken, for real. They don't know how to pass. Everybody want to shoot. Even people who has no way in hell should be shooting the ball, all of them want to shoot the ball. You have to really get with people who know the game and be like, get in some good games and anywhere you go. But when I first came back here, it took me a minute to like find some people that I can actually play with and get some good games in, and there ain't gonna be no craziness. Now, of course you go to courts, and when you start going to courts and random courts and here and there and this and that, it's always gonna be, you're gonna get a couple of those games because people don't know you. It's gonna be them buddy ball games. It's gonna be them games for somebody always trying to play the star and ain't hit a shot yet. It's gonna be them games with one man that's getting cooked and everybody trying to switch with him and his pride won't let him switch. No, I got it, bro. I got it. So y'all lose the game because he done got cooked on 8 shots from this one person because he don't want to give up the dude because he can't guard him. But he don't want to let his pride say he can't guard him because it's a man's game. And then it's a man's game, men up.